All right, man. So today we're going to be talking about whether or not Susan as a point guard could actually work. So the reason why I assume that something like this should actually work is because a point guard's job is to handle the ball, pass the ball, and Susan, she's really good at handling the ball through the use of her smart save. So make sure y'all keep that in mind. Smart save. Really good ability for making sure you can actually keep the ball for longer periods of time. So let's talk about the strengths of Susan as a point guard. First strength, she has a superb three-point stat, which forces opponents to play closer to her, especially behind the screen. You cannot risk leaving a Susan alone behind the screen, man, because her three-point stat is just way too good. Those shots, if they're wide open, are going to go in 9 times out of 10. Just look at Five's videos. Look at all of his Susan videos. He's making those fadeaway threes consistently, especially after that behind the back. And you get the 13% extra accuracy. Another one of her strengths as a point guard is that she also has a dive. It's not as strong as the point guard dives are because shooting guards' dives are typically just a little bit worse than the point guards. But it does help if you're closer to the ball than the point guard is. So she can still manage to get those FLRs sometimes, but she won't get them as often as someone like Nana would. So make sure you keep that in mind. Another one of her strengths is the lag start, man. That lag start, very scary ability. She can consistently force people to stay out there and guard. Like, say for example, you're down by just a measly 1 point, and then you're running an ISO dunker strategy with Susan as your point guard. So you have your lag start ready to go. Until that clock hits a minute and 20 seconds, the big will not have enough time to switch over and pick up the person that's going to go inside the paint and do a dunk or a layup. The reason for that is if they give you a little bit too much space, even under a normal disturbance, you can still manage to get that lag start off. And just having that knowledge is enough to make sure that people stick to you. And when I say stick to you, they will stick to you like a fly on some doo-doo, man, because they do not want to give you those 3 points. So another one of our strengths is the behind the back. So Takumi also has behind the back, and he's actually a point guard, but he does not have the three-point stat that Susan has, and he also does not have the smart save. So if he runs into someone, he's going to lose the ball. If he gets ripped, there's not a chance for him to keep it. So the behind the back on Susan, making her an ankle bully and giving her 13% extra accuracy definitely helps, and it's definitely going to force people to help on defense at least, because once again, 13% extra accuracy, that is a whole lot of extra accuracy. So now we're going to go ahead and cover the weaknesses. The first and most important weakness is that Susan does not have access to a bounce pass. What does that mean? That means she's vulnerable to the likes of Nico. She's vulnerable to the likes of Ayumi, White, and Justin because their interception rates are extremely high, and 2 of those 4 characters can intercept proactively, which means if they have good enough timing, they can go ahead and snatch those clean out of the passing lane. So if you're going against a Nico or a White or an Ayumi or even a Justin, you're going to have to be extremely careful with those passes because bounce pass is not existent inside of Susan's kit. So another one of her weaknesses is that her dive is weaker than a point guard's dive. So simply just having the dive isn't enough. You compare Nana to someone like Albert. Nana's dive is just leagues better. It has a longer range. It has a higher height. It's just so much better than someone like Albert. And then Susan's is even worse than someone like Albert's. So make sure y'all keep that information in mind. Another one of her weaknesses is that she does not have access to a pinpoint pass. So if you're going to be running her, 9 times out of 10 is going to be inside of a strategy where you have an inside score. And you'll be playing at the 3-point line behind the screen trying to ISO your scorer in the paint. They have to stay on you though because lag start. I think that's really it when it comes down to the weaknesses, aside from the fact that she is not as fast as most of the really good point guards. So Yui, really good point guard. She's also extremely fast. Nana, really good point guard. Guess what? She is also extremely fast. Then you compare her to Albert with the exact same speed stat. Susan, in terms of speed, just simply cannot compare to those characters. So they're going to be reaching those FLRs faster. And then they have the better dive to guarantee those FLRs over someone like Susan. So yeah, man, that's why I think Susan point guard could work. I want to know what y'all think. Go ahead and drop your opinions in the comments. That's it. Now catch y'all on the next one.